Hello learners, today we're going to be exploring how Margaret Atwood reframed The Tempest by William Shakespeare within her novel Hag-Seed, with focus on various methods of manipulation. Themes of power and control magnify my understanding of the prominence of manipulation in assisting characters' motives, collective hierarchical structures, and authorial purpose. Through literary conventions, we are able to recognize literature as provisional of solace and as catalysts for change. Through the use of manipulation, both authors explore literary freedom, challenging literary conventions and expectations through interrogation and dismantling. The Tempest is a subversion of the conventions of traditional revenge tragedy and adherence to the Aristotelian convention as Shakespeare reshapes character roles, providing an ambiguous resolution. Shakespeare's subversion of the rules he imposed on his own writing is evident as the protagonist, Prospero, asks for the audience's forgiveness in the epilogue, breaking the fourth wall, asking to be free. The structure of Hag-Seed challenges the traditional novel, noting the ambiguity of The Tempest and the idea that Shakespeare is meant to be rewritten and reinterpreted. Atwood's recognition of the ambiguity in Shakespeare's play allows her to shape the novel form of her own text, responding through textual conversation with her own polysemous ending. Atwood creates a postmodern paradigm, multiverse text, which moves beyond the original play and reflects modernized, technical, contextually relevant and postmodern parody, practicing elements of poiema metalanguage. The Tempest enhances my understanding of the complexity of timelessness of human values, desires, and behaviors, and the ways they often collide with cultural context to stimulate change. Atwood's purpose deliberately challenges, unsettles, and provokes her audience by varying literary expectations. For instance, the audience's perception of good or bad characters is manipulated by the values upheld in the present societal and historical context. Despite Hag-Seed being intended for a contemporary audience, the text affirms Shakespeare's depiction of corruption that power elicits in individuals. Correspondingly, Atwood purposefully set the text in a prison, representative of a marginalized group in society. Criminals who have been stripped of power by incarceration are rather characterized as artistic, imaginative, and worthy of recognition. Manipulation explores individualism as self-serving and suppressive in pursuit of power and control. Protagonists Prospero in The Tempest and Felix in Hag-Seed both seek to regain power and orchestrate revenge. Prospero assumes a role of power over Ariel, Caliban, and Miranda, using his own knowledge of magic and illusion. In Act 1, Scene 1, Prospero is presented as in control on the island, as quoted, "Of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father." Caliban in The Tempest was the original and rightful owner of the island but was usurped by Prospero, who physically tormented him after his attempted assault of Miranda. Upon meeting Trinculo and Stefano, Caliban agrees to worship them over Prospero because they have alcohol, and ironically, he sees himself as free. But the audience are fully aware that Caliban is still dominated. The othering or marginalization of Caliban is directly linked to Shakespeare's context and the influence of Montag's essay. It is interesting to note that there is no direct connection to Caliban in The Tempest, as all prisoners represent those who are shunned by society and judged as Hag-Seeds. Atwood is posing that there is a Caliban within all of us. When marginalized and rejected, we have the capacity to change allegiance, become violent, and plan murder. Within the novel, the prisoners view Caliban as awesome, stating, "We get him," on page 120. Atwood has reframed our understanding of Caliban as the underdog, resonating within our modern context as Caliban metatheatrically has escaped the play. The representation of Miranda in The Tempest forces the audience to question whether she is innocent and naive or whether she is strategically and politically astute. In Act 5, Scene 1, Ferdinand and Miranda are playing chess. Chess is a game of strategy and politics, therefore the scene becomes symbolic, suggesting that the political power now resides with them. It can be theorized that Shakespeare explores the relationship of Ferdinand and Miranda as orchestrated by Prospero for political purposes, or of Miranda as strategically aware, encouraging her relationship with Ferdinand for her own political gain. Both Shakespeare and Atwood explore how literary conventions and expectations can be interrogated, manipulated, and dismantled, deriving from conventions creating and extending their authorial freedom. Both composers explore the power of theatre, performance, and illusion as metafictive and self-reflexive, allowing the audience to recognize performance as a construct that are based on individual motives. Both texts represent illusion as transformative, valued as a means to catalyze and promote self-awareness, reflect and change perspectives, as well as tell their audience that theatre is orchestrated with agenda. The Tempest represents illusion as magic using dramatic form. While acceptable to Shakespeare's Elizabethan-era audience, it is plausible for Atwood's contemporary audience. Therefore, Atwood uses technology, special effects, and props to allow illusion to be credible. Illusions within Hag-Seed have postmodern focus on the self rather than the broader political Renaissance world of Shakespeare. This introspection is possible through Atwood's novel, form, and vocalization. Prospero practices magic to manipulate events within the play, such as Ariel putting everyone except Alonso, Sebastian, and Antonio to sleep in Act 2, Scene 1, The Banquet, Act 3, Scene 3, and The Mask, Act 4, Scene 1. Through comparing texts, we have explored the multitude of methods used by Atwood to reframe the context of the novel, aligning with the details of The Tempest in relation to manipulation as an overarching and continuous theme within both literary texts. Hopefully, the information discussed was helpful and assisted you in your understanding of the two texts and your Year 12 studies. Thank you for watching.